All right, YouTube fam, let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. So, as you can see from the title of the video, this is going to be about stopping the nice guy BS. Now, a lot of you guys are like, oh my gosh, how do I stop being a nice guy? This is that, all this stuff. But in reality, it's like there is a difference between like being, being a genuinely kind person, a good person, and doing what you need to do, putting yourself first. That's cool. But a lot of you guys who are on this, quote unquote nice guy BS, your issue is that you're trying to overcompensate for the value that you lack, right? By being overly nice or overly doing too much, and then you don't get to take care of yourself. Because here's the thing, man. If you try to do too much for others and you don't do for yourself first, then you're going to have less to offer, less to give, but then you're also going to burn out and you'll be frustrated at yourself and at that person, right? A lot of times nice guys do shit with like ulterior motives, right? They might help a chick out with a certain situation expecting something back. When a genuinely kind person already took care of themselves and they're like, you know what, I can help this person out because I took care of myself, and they help them out without expecting anything back. That's the difference. Outcome independence versus outcome dependence. That's like one of the biggest differences between being a genuinely kind person and a nice person, right? So for example, if you only have $200 left, right, and you're like, you know what, this girl wants to go to Ruth Chris, right? So you take this girl to Ruth Chris to try to impress her because you feel like you don't have enough value, because you probably don't. Then you spend your last $200 expecting, to smash or some shit, and then you don't smash. You're gonna be pissed off, but you're only pissed off because you were in the wrong mentality. You're trying to look nice or be nice or overcompensate for your lack of value, right? And lead with your wallet, which is, obviously a bad thing. Instead of genuinely being like, okay, let me see if this chick likes me, or this chick likes me for me, or she just wants to spend time with me, right? Because then you guys could just go somewhere like Chili's, or she could come to your place, you could cook a meal or something like that. But a lot of times people don't realize that they're doing things, they're quote unquote being nice. Like, I did everything right, I'm being nice. Because a lot of divorces happen and the guy's like, I'm doing everything right, I'm being nice. It's like, okay, but is that what that situation needed, right? Were you taking care of yourself to the best of your ability? Or are you putting yourself on the back burner for somebody else, so then not giving that person the best version of yourself? All right, so the illusion, all right? Like I said, nice doesn't equal good, all right? A lot of times people are seeking approval over respect. You don't get, like, if you constantly are trying to seek approval and you don't care about respect, you're going to constantly say yes, you're never going to say no, right? And then people aren't going to respect you because they're like, oh yeah, that nigga's a yes man, he always says yes, right? We've all been there. Pleasing others to feel accepted, right? So if there's something that you don't like, you're not going to say anything about it because you want to be accepted. Versus, if you're true to yourself and you're, best version of yourself, you'll definitely be like, you know what, I don't appreciate this, or I don't like this, or I don't want to do this. And people will respect you because it's like, okay, well, that must have been uncomfortable to say, but at least you kept it 100, right? Because that's pretty much what I always do. That's how I set my boundaries, and it wasn't always like that because I used to, when I was at work, when I was working as a nurse, I used to always pick up every shift, and they used to literally step all over me and just take advantage of me and give me more shifts, give me more work because they knew I would do it, right? Obviously, I was trying to be nice and I wanted to be accepted by everyone. I wanted everyone to like me and shit like that. And then you still had some haters and stuff like that because you can't make everyone like you. Once you try to control other people and how other people feel, that's when you lose. All right, the minute you do that, the minute you try to control how other people feel and what they think, you lose. All right, very, very important. Now, I did want to say, once I started setting boundaries and saying no and having the uncomfortable conversations, I actually got more respect at work. When I was like, yo, I'm not coming in on weekends. Yo, I'm not working on Thursday. Yo, I'm not working on my birthday. Yo, don't call me when it's not my day of working. All right, don't call me to pick up a shift. Right? They respected me way more because I set my boundaries and I knew what I wanted. Because a lot of times when you're being nice and you're just doing whatever, it seems like you have nothing going on, because it's like, why does this guy always say yes? Does he not have a life? Does he not have priorities? Right? And you can't be the best version of yourself if you constantly say yes, because in order to level up, you have to say no to a lot of things because you have to be very focused and in line with your goals and your vision. It's a lot of work to accomplish any goal, fitness, financial, any small goal. It's going to take a lot of focus and work. All right. Shit is not easy out here. I don't care what nobody tells you. You don't magically make 10K a month. You don't magically get to 10% body fat. You don't magically get 10 chicks. Like, it's not how it works. You literally have to present value to the marketplace in all those scenarios. All right. Simple, simple, simple. All right. Why nice guys finish last? We all know this shit. But a lot of people say, yeah, man, like, I've had phone calls with people that are like, yeah, man, I know that nice guys finish last. And then they tell me about themselves and I'm like, oh, well, everything you said is just nice guy bullshit, bro. Like, it sounds like you don't respect yourself just by listening to it. Obviously, I wasn't there to see it, but just by what you said about yourself and the situation with the chick that they're dealing with, you know what I mean? By the way, link is in the description for some calls. but I've had a lot of calls where people are saying stuff like, like, yeah, man, like, I don't think I was that nice. And it's like, they're paying half her rent and, I'm not saying like she lives with them and they know her for a long period of time. I'm talking about they just met her. They're paying half her rent. They haven't even linked. They haven't even smashed. It's like before the first date, they're paying half her rent and shit like that. It's like, yo, do you respect yourself? Like, that doesn't make any sense because she's not gonna pay half your rent. No one's gonna pay half your rent. You see what I'm saying? The reason, like I said earlier in the first slide, that nice guys finish last is because the over accommodation that they do by trying to be nice, right? People are going to disrespect you. Like if someone's trying to be overly nice, I'm like, this motherfucker must have like low value, or he must think he has low value. That's why he's doing that. And people sense that shit, all right? And when people sense you lack boundaries, they're not going to respect your boundaries, all right? Straight up, all right? That's how countries, like if a country gets invaded and taken over, it's because the country that was invading it didn't respect them and thought they were better, all right? So when people don't respect your boundaries and they step all over them, it's because they don't respect. It's because your boundaries aren't strong enough, but they also don't respect you, all right? And of course, when it comes to dating and relationships, women are going to want strength, not passivity, not the pussy shit, not the weak shit. All right. So if you're being nice to a woman, then she'll be like, okay, this guy benefits me because he pays my bills. But she's not going to look at you as an attractive, dating option because you don't have a backbone. All right. Simple. And another thing you have to realize, which is why I tell you guys to read Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. But another book I'll recommend is Let Them. Those are two good books about just not trying to control other people. Like Buddhist Principles talks about this all the time. But you're like, if you're always trying to be people's savior, guess what? You're gonna end up saving everybody except yourself. All right, you're gonna end up drowning. And guess what? If you're everybody's savior, when you do save everybody else except yourself, as soon as you go down and you start drowning, no one's gonna be there to save you. All right, because at the end of the day, you're responsible for yourself. All right, so take care of yourself first, and then other people, and seek respect over validation. All right, but the issue is that people don't realize is like they're like, how do I get respect from other people? And I'm looking at them; they're out of shape. They have no boundaries. They have no impulse control. They have no routine. It's like you got to respect yourself first. And self-discipline, the highest form of self-discipline is being in fucking shape. All right, very simple. Highest form of self-love, self-discipline, and the highest form of self-discipline, it shows on your physique because you're eating. We eat every day. We might not read every day, might not go to work every day, might not go to the gym every day, but you eat every day. All right. So when you're in shape or you're at the physique that you want to be, whether it's 15%, 10% body fat, whatever it is, right? Even if you're offensive lineman, it's pretty hard to maintain that physique, right? But they are aligning with who they say they are, so that's a sign of self-respect. All right. Now, this is where it starts, and this is where I noticed it because when I was younger, it was like, oh, you got to be nice because you got to fit in. That's number one, or you got to do this because you got to fit in, or you don't want to upset the teacher, you don't want to upset your friend, you don't want to upset your parents. This is that, right? You don't want to upset your grandma, so you eat her food. You don't want to upset your parents, so you eat their food. You get fat as shit, all that stuff, right? But then at the end of the day, you have to realize, like, you know what? That shit's not going to get me anywhere. It's better to stand out, right? It's not going to get me anywhere because if I have to stand out or stick out like a sore thumb to reach my goals, I'd rather do that because no one else has to live my life but me. And that's the mindset you have to get to. It's the mindset you'll get to with the fitness journey because if people are like, no, you have to eat my food because I made it just for you, or no, you have to, skip the gym today because, we have to go to this event. If they say that, they're not living your life. You're the one living your life, right? So when you don't reach your goals, it's your fault. It's not their fault. But a lot of people will be like, well, it's not my fault that, that she told me I have to go there. I have to go there. And it's like, no, you don't. You drove there. All right. Or it's like, nah, man, my girlfriend made me eat this. No, she didn't. You chewed on the food, not her. All right. And if your girlfriend's constantly making you eat goofy shit and you're listening to her, then she's just going to she's going to lose respect for you. And you should probably find a new girlfriend. That's two things. All right. There's a lot of attack on, assertiveness. They call it toxic masculinity when it's just base masculinity, to be honest. It's literally just base masculinity. There is no positive masculinity according to the media. All right. So a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, how do I act? How do I act? And then you act soft, you act nice, and you get bad results. Or you're raised by a single mom and she tells you what to do, to get a woman, whereas she's attracted to the man that left her. All right. And that's the only person she's attracted to is the baby daddy. Right. So it's like, and he exerted more masculine energy. I'm not saying be a baby daddy or whatever. Definitely be a husband, get married, or stay single. Simple. But in order to be attractive, you have to be very, very, masculine. Because it's always been interesting to me when I see dudes come to me and they're raised by a single mom and they're like, yeah, my mom told me this. I'm like, nigga, would your mom fuck with someone who was a pussy like that? No. Did she to have you? No. Like, how was your dad? Oh yeah, my dad was this, my dad was that. Sounds like he was masculine, right? Obviously, it didn't work out with the person's dad and mom, but the dad was masculine. That's why the woman was attracted, because masculinity is going to attract femininity. Period. All right. Now, the hidden cost. All right. This is how you're gonna be. This is how the chick's gonna see you. You're gonna be invisible. All right. You're gonna have bottled up resentment and frustration because you're always doing stuff for others. You're never getting anything that you want, and it really all stems from you don't respect yourself. All right. So, thing is, when people act nice and they expect something back, that is selfish as shit. Versus if you take care of yourself first, and then you sometimes give to others, depending if you can. That's not selfish. All right, because you took care of yourself first. That's like a requirement in life. But when you give someone something expecting something back, that's selfish, right? It might look nice, but if you're expecting something back, you're not outcome independent. That's not being kind. It's not being nice. All right. And when you have anxiety around people's opinions, here's the thing, man. Once you become a grown man, like being an adult is realizing that nobody fucking like nobody cares about you for real. Like nobody fucking cares. Like your family, some of your family's gonna care about you, but other than that, nobody gives a fuck. Work doesn't give a fuck. Landlord doesn't give a fuck. So you have to realize like people's opinions shouldn't matter to you because they're not paying your bills. They're not eating the lean protein for you. They're not on the fat loss journey for you. They're not going to the gym for you. All right. Like if someone is not the only time I would care about someone's opinion is if they're literally like, hey, we're gonna give you $1 million a year, pay all your bills, and do this, do that. I'm like, oh, okay, well now you got my attention. But no one's doing that for anybody. All right, people don't do that for other people. The thing is, you'll start on your fat loss journey. You'll be making progress. Maybe you start your entrepreneurship journey. Maybe you start posting on social media. Maybe you start, dating the chicks that you want to date. And then your family's like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't be dating. And then, you got friends that are saying, hey man, you shouldn't get that skinny. You know what I mean? However, your family is broken up and they never had a successful dating life and they're telling you what to do. Number one, and your friends are all out of shape and they've never had success on the fitness journey and they're telling you you're getting too skinny, but you're 25% body fat. You see what I'm saying? So you shouldn't be listening to people who aren't going in the trajectory you're going in, but also you shouldn't be listening to people who don't inspire you. That's the thing about opinions. Like I see opinions in the comments and I'm like, these are all niggas who never worked. These are all niggas who never work out. These are people who've never successfully dropped like 5% body fat and kept it off. 5% only. That's all I said. These are people who've never been 10% body fat. These are people who've never dated a chick. Like these are people who've never seen a chick in like a year. Like it's embarrassing. So it's like when I see the comments, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I mean, those people, they just don't understand because, they've never been there. So it's like, I mean, if Alex Ramosi commented something, he's like, hey, do this, do that, then I'm going to listen, right? Because obviously it inspires me. But the thing is, in general, positivity, when people are like successful, they're going to be positive. They're not going to be commenting negative shit they're not going to be commenting negative shit. Like when you're in that trajectory and you're going in that direction, you're in your masculine energy, there's going to be other dudes that are like, yo, good shit, man, stay locked in, yo, good shit. That's all it is. You know what I mean? So anyone who's giving you negativity around you, like any of your quote unquote friends, your boys saying any negative shit, cut them off, bro. I wish one of my boys would be like, hey, yo, you're getting too lean, don't do that. I'm just fine this shit. Just cut them off. You see what I'm saying? It's not like life is too short to be having these people who don't align with your goals around you, so you'll never get to your goals. A lot of you guys have been watching my videos, watching other videos for a long period of time, haven't done fucking shit. All right, you haven't done shit. You still look fat as shit. You're still around the same people. You're still making the same excuses. It is what it is. Now, weakness is not virtue. All right, a lot of people are. It's kind of like the entrepreneurship. Well, not the entrepreneurship, but like how people, especially growing up, like in church, they're like, oh, money is bad. Money's bad. Money's not bad. Being broke is bad if you have a family, right? Being broke is bad if you have a family because that means you didn't prioritize yourself enough to make money to provide for your family. So now your family's suffering, and you brought them in the world. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. So being kind is a choice. Weakness is default. Strength is going to create peace, not submission. All right, like the strongest motherfuckers in the gyms and like the fighting gyms. Like I just did a boxing session in what was it, Tampa? I think it was Tampa or Orlando. I did a boxing session and the dude was doing, he said he did taekwondo for the longest period of time and he just had that calm, cool energy about him. Cause honestly, bro, he was smaller than me, but if I tried to whoop his ass, he would absolutely whoop my ass. Like let's just keep it a buck, all right? And that's what real strength is. That's what real strength is. When you hang around with real strength, real masculine men, real men who can get money, get chicks, you feel me? And they know how to defend themselves. They're just calm. You know what I mean? Because they work on themselves every day. Versus you go around people who are insecure, out of shape, all that stuff. They're gonna be trying to overcompensate 24/7. All right. Another thing is people are gonna follow confident men, and confidence comes from you confiding in yourself and locking in on that journey, to be honest. All right. Now, reclaiming your masculinity. All right. So what you want to do is you want to speak. You know what the saying "speak your truth" actually means? It just means you have principles, you have goals, you have a vision for yourself. So if something that someone says doesn't align with your vision, if something that someone does doesn't align with your vision around you or something like that, just be honest and be like, "Oh, that's cool, man. You could do that, but that's just not what I want to do." Like I was at dinner the other day, right, with my friends or whatever, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have dessert." I was like, "That's cool. I'm not gonna have no dessert." You feel me? I'm straight. I hit my calories, hit my protein number with this steak and these potatoes. I'm good. I'm chilling. You see what I'm saying? And they're cool with it, right? They respected it. If they push back and be like, "No, we have to eat this," I'll be like, "What the fuck?" But they respect the boundaries. But I'm not gonna be like, "Yeah, I'll have dessert too," because I feel guilty. I don't feel guilty because I would only feel guilty if I let myself down by eating dessert when I said I wouldn't. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how you say no without guilt. It's like if something aligns with, that's why you have to be intentional and really know what you want, because if something doesn't align with your goals and you make it clear, then it's going to be easy to follow through. Now, one more thing I wanted to touch on with that is a lot of you guys lack intention as well. Like you don't know where you're going, what you're doing, what you want to be, what you want to do. So then when someone asks you something, you actually think about it. You're like, should I eat this cookie? Should I not? Me, it's a fast ass answer, right? So my my boy asked me, what did he ask me yesterday? What did he ask me the other day? He asked me a question. I answered that shit so fast because I know what I want and what I don't want. I can't remember what he said. Damn, I forgot what he said. But that's how it is with most questions, most answers. Like I have an answer within 30 milliseconds. What is that? Like half a second. I have an answer within half a second for everything because guess what? I know what I want and I know what my goals align with. It's very simple, right? I don't focus on other people. Focus on what I want in my vision, I mean. And as I'm leveling up, I can give a better version of myself to everybody. Simple shit. And self-respect is going to be earned through action. Like I said earlier, a lot of people have been watching me, watching other people. Maybe they've been watching people before me and they haven't done shit. That's just the majority of people. That it is what it is. Um, I'm not saying they don't have motion in other aspects. Maybe they do, but I'm just talking about fitness because they watch like a lot of fitness content. They don't ever work out ever. They don't make a change ever. Um, and that's why the people who do make a change, they get that self-respect, but they also get respect from others because of action, right? You can't make a change without action. Simple. All right, so the confidence loop. So more self-discipline, like I said, self-discipline is the highest form of self-love. When you love yourself, you're gonna be more confident, right? Because you're giving your best self to the world. More confidence, more better results. More self-respect, better respect from others, which is also gonna help your charisma as well. All right, and it all starts with your daily standards. You're not gonna outpace your daily standards. Simple. So if you're not doing what you need to do, your standards need to be elevated. You need to raise your standards if you feel like you're not doing what you need to do. A lot of you guys say stuff like, "Hey man, I'm really not losing the fat I want to, or I'm not where I want to be, blah 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 blah." It's like, okay, that's fine. It's because your standards. That's all it is. Your standards are too low, right? If your standards were higher, then you would be where you need to be. But every day you're doing stuff below what you say you want, which means your standards don't align with your goals, which means your standards are lower than your goals, which means you need to raise your fucking standards, all right? Because you guys always say that stuff. Simple. Now, the power of boundaries, all right? This is one of the most important things. If you constantly are saying yes, you are literally going to have a lot on your plate, and all of the stuff on your plate is not going to help you. It's going to drain you, all right? Obviously, if you keep pouring out from a cup, eventually it's going to be empty, all right? But if you have like 1,000 different things on your plate, or you have 1,000 different mouths to feed, because you're constantly taking things on and you're not feeding yourself, you're going to be pouring from an empty cup. The cup's going to break. You're going to burn out. Simple shit, right? So literally, the definition of an invasion of like a border, right? Like the Poland invasion back in the day, or when Poland got invaded like gajillion times, right? It's because the country didn't respect them, and they're like, "Yo, we're stronger than you," right? And they didn't respect the boundaries. So that's how it is when people don't respect your boundaries. You got to cut them off, and you got to fight for your boundaries. Like that's what you got to do. You guys don't fight for your boundaries. You guys don't fight for your health. You guys don't fight for your goals. Fight for your vision. You guys just give in, right? So if someone is crossing your boundaries, they're like FaceTiming you, at night or some shit like that, and you got the ringer on, or they're like calling you 24/7, or they're just messaging you expecting responses, or they're just constantly asking you for money, but you're giving them everything, they're not giving you anything back, right? And it's just a friend, then you need to cut them off. All right, you need to cut them off because they're draining you without replenishing. It's like eating junk food. You eat junk food, you break down Junk food, you use minerals and vitamins, but you don't get any back versus eating fruit, right? You're eating some fruit, you're using some vitamins and minerals to break it down, but you're also getting some vitamins and minerals back. All right. So you can't be in these parasitic relationships and expect to be the leanest version of yourself. It doesn't make any sense. Another thing, stop being so apologetic. I didn't spell it wrong. You're reading it wrong. Think about that. No, I spelled it wrong. Anyways, stop saying that. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't remember if it was a football coach, but I remember when I said, I was like, man, I'm sorry. Coach was like, don't ever say that shit again, man. Don't ever say that shit again. If you say you're sorry, that means if you say you're sorry, that means you're sorry. All right. You can apologize, be like, I apologize, but you gotta change through action, right? You gotta make a change through action. So once I stopped doing that, I stopped saying sorry. Like when you say sorry, you subconsciously feel like you're weak or like you're sorry, right? So I don't say sorry. All right. If I make a mistake, I apologize and I correct the mistake through action. One thing I hate is when someone says, "Oh, sorry for being late." First of all, you can't really be late to a Zoom call because if you're not on within 2 minutes, I'm off. Like it is what it is. But when I first started doing Zoom calls, right, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I don't even know, 5 years ago, some people used to come on like 15 minutes late and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for being late." Instead of being late and saying you're sorry for being late, just make it a priority, and then show up on time. But generally, if you're late to a Zoom call and it's about fitness and you're fat, that's why you're fat as fuck because you don't prioritize, you know, health shit, and it's very obvious. So I don't work with anyone who's like 2 minutes late because it's literally I'm gonna be chasing them the whole time. Like I'm gonna be like, "Hey man, oh you forgot to do your workout." They'll be like, "Oh man, like you don't understand like what happened today." And they work 40 hours a week. They have hella fucking time. It is what it is. They work 40 hours a week. They have hella time. It's like they're just making excuses, right? So that's how it is. Like I said, when you say you're sorry, you have to show who you are through action, and not apologize for being masculine. Because a lot of times they do something and people be like, "Oh my gosh, that's offensive. That's masculine, or that's too masculine, or that's toxic." Don't say sorry. It's like, no, that's who I am, right? You got to be firm in who you are. All right. You have principles, you stand on them. When you stand on your principles, even if it's against what society says, what people around you say, and it makes people uncomfortable, in a certain situation, the fact that you stood on your principles will make you feel fulfilled, and you'll feel aligned, right? You want to build a fucking founding titan backbone. All right. Now, lifting, sweating, and enduring discomfort. It's cold outside. You still go to the gym. You might go for a run when it's cold outside. You see what I'm saying? Your knee hurts. You still do your squats. It is what it is. You got a tricep cramp. You stretch it out. You finish your workout. Simple. If you do a boxing session, you're gonna be, you might be cramping at the end. Like the boxing session I was doing the other day. I'm cramping at the end. It is what it is, right? You build yourself through discomfort and through pain. That's how you build a backbone. Like you guys are always like, what's your back routine? You just fucking work out. Just work out. But you're not gonna see everything until you get lean. But yeah, just work out. Lift heavy. Simple shit, right? Oh shit, this weight's heavy, it's uncomfortable. Keep lifting. Who gives a fuck, right? Speak with conviction, mean what you say is what it really means. You can't speak with conviction without meaning what you say. So like the thing is, if someone in the comment is saying something, like I know I could tell, in this comment section too, but even in real life, if someone's saying some shit like, yeah, man, I get hoes, man. I could tell just by their diction, their syntax, obviously, but also their tonality, if they're lying or not. Like, it's that simple. So in the comment section, the way y'all be writing shit like, "Oh yeah, I can get any chick I want," and just, bro, niggas who be getting any chick they want, they're not in comment sections with no profile picture and getting offended at everything. They just don't give a shit. They're just doing what they're doing, right? They're just out there. It's like this should be so funny. It's like, "Oh yeah. Well, I could do this and I could do that. I'm actually a millionaire and I have 10 baddies with me." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." I didn't know Dan Bilzerian was watching my videos. And in reality, it's just a fat, out of shape dude who's like, 37 in his mom's basement or some shit, and he's beating his meat every day. Like that's what it really is. You see what I'm saying? So speaking with conviction is going to come from you doing what you need to do because you can't fake that conviction. When you say something and you mean it, people respect it, right? That's why when I was first when I was personal training and I was skinny as shit, when I first started, and I was like, "Hey, this is what you got to do." They're like, "Shut the fuck up, nigga. You don't tell me what to do." Like they're like, "Shut up. Why don't you do it?" Like that's the mindset people had. Versus when I got in shape and I started telling people what to do, they're like, "Okay, yeah, that makes sense," because I've been through it, so I know what's going on. You feel me? All right, and obviously you want to drop this "please like me" act, this weak mentality, this outcome dependent mentality. All right, that dumbass mentality, like, "Oh my god, I have to get a chick today. Oh my god, I have to see a chick this weekend." Like that's how you scare away everything. That desperate energy. All right, be calm, simple. Also, redefine nice. Like I said earlier, When you are being genuinely kind, that is being nice. When you're doing something to gain something out of it, that's not being nice. All right, that's not being nice. Like when you're, yeah, that's not being nice. That's like some political shit. That's like being a politician basically. You lying about some shit to get some gain. No, don't do that shit. All right, be generous. Don't be a pushover. Be caring, not codependent. And like I said, any situation when you're only being nice, dependent. Well, you're only being nice so you can get a certain outcome, right? That's being dependent every single time. Be respectful. Don't be spineless. All right. If someone's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna slide to your house and I'm gonna redecorate it and I'm gonna stay there for 3 days," and and those 3 days you got to be locked in on some shit, and you're like, "Why the fuck would they want to redecorate my house?" You just say no and just set your boundary, right? If you're like, "Hey, you want to crash on the couch for a day, you can, but 3 days, nah, I got to be locked in these days." You know what I mean? Real kind people have standards. Have some fucking standards. Have backbones. Have principle. All right. Now, the reward of this is going to be respect. Respect. They spelled it wrong. It should be EK. But anyways, respect over approval. All right. Which is going to be attraction over chase and validation. All right. You're going to have that calm confidence instead of anxiety. You're going to have the freedom to live honestly. You're not going to have to lie all the fucking time because you're being the best version of yourself. You're being your true self. Simple shit. Now, the transformation. You're going to go from needy to grounded. You go from fearful to assertive, ignored to respected with a K. From approval seeker to leader. It's literally a mindset shift, identity shift. But anyways, if you're locked in, ready to lose some fat, get on this body game shit. Link is in the description. Also, Patreon should be coming soon. Look out for the link in the description.